G'day, I'm Adrian, and this is my place. G'day everyone, welcome back to my channel. Well, today we're going to finish the filtration part 2 video, so I will go through these racks behind me, and then also we're going to start on these guys over here. It takes more than a couple of days to get through it all, so we're going to do that. Off you go. And I'm just going to grab the video camera and film what happens along the way. I don't know what I'm going to find or discover, but you're about to find out as well. So get comfy, because I'm going to talk about fish. The first one is this one, which has got my Mickey Mouse platies. Now there's at least twice that amount in there, but I've discovered, much to my chagrin, that they hide up there behind the fake wall for most of the day. They do come out to be fed, which I will show you in some later footage, but I also have my Trilineatus, essentially, or the false Julie eyes, if you want to call them that, in here as well. I found these guys are really shy cories for some reason, and they will hide all the time. But even at feeding time, which is a bit unusual for cories. So that's that tank. It runs as a standalone tank, just with the sponge filter over here. So, and of course the air stone that's bubbling away at the back there. Other than that, I'll put the dimensions of the tank on screen here as well, so that you can see how that one goes. This one here is actually running on the hard water sump, which is Tanganyika and Malawi grade water, so harder water. So it just continuously runs through the pump, and I will take you through the sump as well. It's an enigma, that sump. But these are my purple Leilupi. So they're not too purple at the moment, but when they get rolled up, the girls go particularly purple, and the boys, like this dude here, get a really purple face, and yeah, the orange gets really bright. But these are guys I bred. These are all my babies. I have another colony on the rack, which I'll show you further down the video, but that's that tank. And then this one is in need of a water change. As you can see, the water's a bit yellow, but it's going brilliantly. I love this green algae up there, because at the moment it's only got Corydoras in it. So these guys, I did this tank as a redo on a video with Katie from Katie's Cichlids. So if you want to see how the tank looked before and then how we pulled it down, then that's it. But I had an idea, just to, again, like the waterfall on the 8-footer, I wanted to have over here. So this one is just an old pond spillway. It's running a bit slow at the moment, needs a clean up. And I've just got rocks and pothos, like a bit of a bio filter in there, and the plants are doing okay. They need some TLC, because I haven't even put any water in the cups of the bromeliads, and that's why they've carked it, but I've got a ton of them. So this tank has just got Sturbi Corydoras and albino Corydoras in it, and it's definitely one of my favorites. Okay, if you've never used sponge filters before, or you're new to the hobby, then they are fantastic as far as standalone tanks are concerned. Even though this one is from the Leilupi tank, you'll see how much stuff will come off of it after going through the sump. And this water is just amazing for your plants. So I use this on all of my indoor plants. all of my veggies, all of the water that flows out of the automatic system that I've got actually flows into an IBC outside as well. So the intention here is to squeeze as much of it out as you can, and then what I do, I actually shake it, if you can see how much comes out of it, and the water itself is full of just fertilizer, nutrients, you name it. Now I'd suggest 1 or 2 pothos plants or other sorts of plants growing out of your tank. Takes out about similar amounts. But I keep going till it's clean, and it's yeah, rinse and repeat on I guess 30 plus tanks, so that's why it doesn't always get done in one go. Alright, let's put this back in. Okay, so I've cleaned these 2 tanks. This one was pretty clean because it's running through the sump. This one is still clunky. The old, it's half done the water change system. Obviously, I'm just running a hose from outside into it. I'm probably going to give it anywhere from 80 to 100% water change. It'll be fine for those fish that are in there. Luckily, it's connected to, if you can see it in there, that bulkhead, which then runs into my drain point over here, and then this side of the room runs to outside, and I've got it running into my my IBC outside that I use for my veggies and plants, which I'll show you. Okay, so this is outside. So that pipe work that I showed you inside runs out to here as the drain, or one of them does. Runs along there to here, and I've just disconnected it so you can see that the water flows through. And then I'll reconnect this now, one-handed if I can. Oh, they are connected, trust me, it was one-handed. Okay, so then it goes down there and runs into the IBC under the bird aviary. I've got room for another 2 or 3 down there. It goes down here. Some new birds the other day. Some parrots in the second cage. Nope, it's no good. And this guy's up here. These are Gouldian finches. How beautiful are they? Anyway, distracted, look how dirty this is. The sun's killed most of the stuff because I didn't water it, but the shrimp are still fine in there. My dad's been working down here, making some pavers. The aviary ponds, which I'll do a different cleaning video on that, are in here. Black shrimp in there, not much in the way of plants because the birds, these parrots, love to chew all that up. But those 2 ponds run into a bio barrel that I've set up, into a settling chamber, and then the pump goes up to both of those guys. So I'll do a more in-depth video on that when I do the outside stuff. So this is the IBC up here, and you can see we've got it hooked up now to an irrigation line that runs along there to our vegetable garden on the hill down there near the bananas. I've had a few questions as to whether or not fish water is good for houseplants. I'm going to say yes. Look at this one here. Look at that. And that was just a single cutting that I put in there. Anyway, let's see how the tank's going. So yeah, it's cleaning up. The water's running straight through there, down into that IBC, and then into the garden. So now I'm going to start on this one. Okay, the sump. Where do we even begin talking about the sump? It's actually a whole ecosystem and set of fish in here. You can see probably there's an ornata pinus shell dweller in there. There's a couple of plecos in there. If you look down there, there's some Pseudotropheus celosi. There's a whole colony in there. I think there's 7 I counted of those guys. They were when the celosi were in where the Simulus are at the moment, so they just escaped down the drain pipe. So this sump is broken, as you can see. So it's not really functioning as a sump, it's probably more just a bio tank really. The water from all the returns from the tanks that I'm going to show you in the next video, part 3, all return down here, supposedly through there and through all this filtration, but it's not working because there's a gap straight down the side. So the fish are pretty flighty in here. They get knocked around a fair bit. I've got one pump that runs the whole lot. There's another Pseudotropheus. Little girl, possibly that one. I think there's a Simulus or a multifasciatus in there. So yeah, I don't know what to do with that sump. It's just more of a bio tank really, isn't it? It's not exactly filtering. So when I wash all of these tanks through, so that water, when I do flush them out, goes out and down that overflow just there. There we go, which of course runs into the drains and then runs into the IBC down the back. Just one more thing about this sump is that the reason I haven't changed it is I can't get it out of that position. I can take it out the end, but it ain't going to get past that, which I could unscrew and move, but of course I've now got my rack built into it, so I'm sort of stuck. If I'm going to replace that, I most likely will do it with two 3-foot tanks and just make my own sumps up there so I can slide them into the gap this way from the end. Yeah, that's my my conundrum at the moment. What to do with it? Do I just leave it, or do I pull it apart and replace it completely? So the tank's cleaning up now, but one of the things I wanted to mention, so I did clean the sponge filter out, and I did siphon a little bit of the mole out around it that I stirred up with my hand. But whenever you're trying to breed fish, you should always treat the tank like there's babies in it, because had I just siphoned up willy-nilly, I would have missed these tiny little guys because they were all around the sponge filter. Not the big one there, I would have seen him, but these little guys. Now, similarly, same fish, when I moved them from this tank over here, they've obviously dropped babies, and I was going to siphon this tank out and give it a really good clean, but then I thought better of it, and I'm pleased that I did, because the orange Venezuelan cories have got about 20 of the Mickey Mouse platies in here. So yeah, I would have missed all these guys had I just gone in with the big 1-inch siphon hose. So whenever I'm tearing down a tank, I don't get too excited, because I really do leave it for up to 2 weeks just to see if there's any babies that were bred or that I've missed. These guys are pretty cool, the orange vens. Not sure if they're bred in there. I haven't been trying to breed them. They might be. I'll have to check that out. But yeah, so don't siphon without really carefully looking for your fish. And if you do, siphon into a bucket, and then from the bucket tip that water through a net just to make sure you don't miss out, because these guys were, I would have taken all of these guys out had I not had that Fishroom policy in place. Okay, so here's something cool that I found. Check out the plants that are all over the place, going nuts and need a prune. But I had some Suswasatang that I had hair algae on, so I stuck it in here and slid it under the tanks, no light at all, and I completely forgot about it. This was about 2 months ago maybe. So yeah, how's that for good looking and no hair algae Suswasatang? Good tip there. This stuff can live pretty much, like you can see, just the filtered light from under the door when the door's up. So it's brilliant. I absolutely love this stuff, as you can probably tell. This is my dirty shrimp tank that needs a clean, but how's that for Suswasatang? I actually chose that bit of wood in there because it was so amazing. Tony gave it to me for this particular tank, and the Suswasser tank has just gone completely nuts. But anyway, I do like that tank. I'll show that a bit more later. Back to the task at hand. Okay, so I've cleaned the top tank now, scrubbed the algae down. I have, ducking under there, left the pump exposed just so I can show that it's just a normal small pump, and I've got just garden hose going up the top there. Cleaned all the algae off. Albinos truly don't care. And then this tank is clearing up pretty well, and it looks way better because I trimmed a lot of the plants at the top and pushed them out the way of the lights, and it makes a huge difference. The water change for this is the best one that I have come up with so far. So it basically runs from the tub on the other side of the room. I have the water, I'll turn that on now, I guess. So as before, this goes to this side of the room, that goes to the other side of the room. I'm going to put it on for 30 minutes, and now it's changing water. Into which tank, I'm not sure, because I have a manifold over here, a hidden one, where you'll see I've got that line comes down the wall and connects into the 4-stage manifold. I've cut that so I can get into it. This one here goes down to the sump. This one here goes up to this tank here. This one here goes to this tank here, so I can fill the Tanganyika rack as well. And this black one splits into 2 with another valve there, which I can just get to, which does my shrimp rack, but also does the top, middle, and bottom rack over here. So lights are off, but I'll show that water change system as well. But right now, I'm going to put it into this one here, and then probably give it close to 100% water change as well, at least 30 minutes running time. So that water is now pouring in through there from that manifold, and will run for 30 minutes, and then that tank will just drain out of this drain pipe here, which then runs into that drain there and goes out into the IBC. So yeah, these were 3-in-1 beta prisons. They went across there. In fact, I have an old one here I'm still yet to do up. That's it there. And I've converted them to this 1-tank system, and in fact I've used the slides that used to divide them inside the tank as the hide. So this is a boy, Kenji, as I said before. This is Splash. She's probably my favourite, although I don't have favourites, but she is a awesome beta, huge personality. She just hangs around. She's also been a really good mum. She didn't attack any of the babies, and yeah, she went through the whole process really well. So that's the tank for the betas that I've got for these guys. One more to go here, and then I'm moving these guppies outside. They're just sponge filters, so I probably do them maybe once every 3 to 4 months, maybe if I'm lucky, or if they're lucky, I just do water top-ups on these guys. And yeah, they're about to head outside into the tubs, and then that's where I'm going to put the grow outs for all of the babies from this fry rack system, in particular the electric blue Acaras that are in there. The Sturbies can go into the main tank below, Adolphi's main tank below, but this has got little rainbows in it now, which I know would get smashed by my angels, and also the larger female betta that's in there. Well, there's quite a few of them growing up now, which is cool. These are Splash's babies. While that water change is going on over here, I'm going to do these 3 tanks I've decided today, and that'll be my day, because I've also got to move these guppies outside. So 3 tanks of guppies have got to go. So by the time I do these 3 tanks, particularly with the bio media sponge filters that I've got. And you've probably seen me explain that on Nick's videos before, but I'll give them a quick clean. It's really just doing the sponge and trying not to let the bio balls go everywhere. This one here needs a good clean out, and you can see the sponge filter is definitely in need of a clean. So that hasn't been done for probably 2 months maybe, I guess. And these guys, they look pretty good. I'm just going to give that sponge filter a clean and get them out the way as well. So that's done. And then what I do for a water change for them, same thing, is I just switch over the manifold to this one here. You can see that with my fake plants. Only spot I use fake plants. So that one there, so I'll turn this one off and that one on when I'm ready to do the water change there. Managed to knock the end off the hose, which then flooded the fish room, which is not a necessarily uncommon occurrence. But what happens is my fall, unfortunately, doesn't run out to the street as it should. So this is one of the reasons I don't like having tubs on the ground. So I'm going to move these guys outside. I've got tubs already set up for them. They're orange and white Madakas in here. They'll come out, and I've got blue platinum Madakas in there. So there's some orange and whites there. What I've got to do, as I was saying before, is I've got to keep those tubs now for 2 weeks to see what actually hatches out of it. So I'm just mopping up. I've used the blower to get most of the water out, so I'll just give it another mop. But that's half of the course, I'm afraid, when you have a fish room and you're trying to do multiple things at once. So back into these tanks. Okay, so I just crawled under the house to replace these filters because my dad had the water turned off to fix one of the systems. He's also a plumber, so I'm just going to rip these out now. So that's the cartridge out. That's the old one. That's the new one. It just slips inside there. And I screw that up and do that 3 times with these 2 replacement filters. There's the 3 old filter cartridges. You can see this one's pretty gunked up given that all the water has to go through here. You can see it's collected all in around here, which is good to see. This is a carbon filter, so it's pretty dirty, but you can see inside the microfiber ones that, yeah, it's just as dirty in there. So all of that garbage has been removed from our water system as much as it has for the fish, so I would recommend getting a whole house filtration system for everybody. And the new ones, they're up in there doing their job for anywhere from 3 to 4, possibly even 5 months, depending on when I lose pressure in the house. That's when I know the system needs to be changed. Alright, these guys I caught up out of here. There was only 3 in there, but you can see that there's enough plants and everything in there for them to have laid babies. They're certainly old enough to have done that. I'm not sure if one of them's white, but we'll soon see. And they're going out here. It's pretty hot today, isn't it, Zig? Okay, so these are joining the existing colony of blues. Over there. I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but how cool is this for just like a little sanctuary for the shrimp? You can see in there. Too much glare, I think. Some there in the sunlight. And the rice fish. They look pretty happy in there. I decided not to remove these fish, just simply because I've taken so much duckweed and weed and stuff off the top now that I don't want to sort of limit any fry that I might get from them. So I'll leave them in here another few days to a week. I'm just giving them a top up out of the hose. And there's a heap of orange cherry shrimp in here as well. These are orange and white. I got these from these Medaka, these rice fish from Eliza from Handpicked Aquatics. Lots of my fish come from there. So I think I'll just give them some more time to get excited with the water change, put some baby brine shrimp in this afternoon, and every couple of days now for a week, I think, and then just let them go nuts, and I'll take them out and put them into the tub next week. And the duckweed and everything that I got is going out to the goldfish. Okay, so before I put the sponge filter back in here, I'm going to move this little baby Adelphoi. I'm going to put a heap of gravel in to stop this air filter or this air stone dragging all of this sand up and making it like snow across the tank. So driving me nuts has been for a while. Now that the sponge filter's out, that's the perfect time for me to get it done. So now I've got the gravel in, there should be far less chance of that sand getting dragged up and thrown around now. So the cories, of course, are constantly turning it over, but that there should stop them. Well, that's the plan anyway. So I'm midway through just changing the sponge filter or cleaning that there, but I thought whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to show you how to fix the sponge filter that's not working, but I'm going to turn this back on and divert the water to, you can see how fast it's coming in now after I change those filters out the front of the house. So I'm going to slow that one down, turn that one on, and that will be flying through there, I'm guessing. And it's certainly coming through up there as well. And then should be down here as well. Yep, it is. So I might just do it a little bit faster, but that's how the I changed the water on those three tanks there. I'm going to do the same for that tank there. I'm going to hook it up to the same system that does the stir bars above it, and then that way I'll be changing those two at the same time. I'm changing these three at the same time. I can actually change all 5 of them if I wanted to, but that way all of that water is now just running out and various connections into the drain pipe and again into that IBC and onto my garden. Now I'm not sure if you've ever had a sponge filter slow down on you. So this is clean now, I've rinsed it out. You can see how dirty that water is there. That's a resource, that's just an amazing fertilizer for plants. So sometimes these get blocked. I don't know if the camera will focus in on the holes that go through there. So what I do is I just run a drill through either end and I slightly enlarge that one. But these particular ends, if you have a look here, the air does get sucked in through here, but perhaps if I get a light, there's actually holes underneath there. Some of them are completely blocked, some of them have got, it looks like, access to it. So what I do, I don't know if anyone else does this or has done this, but I drill them out. Tighten the chuck up. And I rinse it. get any of the loose stuff off. Then I put it back together. Okay, and we will see if that does any better than what it was doing before. Okay, so I got it back in. That's how it looks. I definitely think it's working better than it was. I could probably turn the air up a bit there. So I'm actually thinking of the bronze Venezuelan cories, putting them in here. Not today, but in future. The other one's still going well, so it all looks like we've been successful up here. Okay, so that's the filtration done on these 6 tanks. It took me about a good 4 hours, I reckon, maybe a little bit longer with filming. But you can see they're starting to clear up pretty well. So first day cloudiness, I guess, but it's still a bit of snow, sand up there, which is not impressing me. These guys are always happy. I'll probably get eggs out of them, I'm thinking, tomorrow, possibly the day after. It's definitely been 100% water change. It's still coming in there now. This tank looks much cleaner. These guys are pretty special in a group now. These are the white fin ornate tetras. And they're in there with some albino cherry barbs. Also my elephant nose and some huge congos, which I very rarely see. But that tank's looking alright now again, one day after, or not even one day after, it's a couple of hours after the water change and clean up. Same with this one. Coming along nicely. The supercharged sponge filter worked better than it was. These guys are looking good. Because I cleared so much off the top, you can see them way better. Very happy with these fish. These ones are from Tony. If you haven't watched Nick's video of Tony's fish room, check it out. He's got some very cool fish over there, and we swap fish a lot. This tank's cleaned up nicely. Everybody's just waiting to be fed. Same with these guys. Alright guys, that's part 2 of the filtration done. The 6 tanks behind me are really clean. They're coming up nicely after having done what I did to them, so that's pretty cool. The 8-footer still looking good from the other day's clean. It will probably need a water change maybe tomorrow or the day after. I'll give it a 10 or 20%. Next time we're going to go through the Tanganykan and Malawi tanks that run through that sump that unfortunately is broken. So what I'll do is explain how I'm going to do that, because I'm going to actually install a water change system, not dissimilar to these guys here, on all of the corridor tanks. I think there's 6, maybe even 7 tanks over there that I have to put the hose in to fill up and run through the system. So I'm going to film doing that. There's no better time to do it when I've got the tanks apart, doing the sponge filters and filming for you guys. So if you made it this far, thank you so much. I have, I can't, no words to describe how grateful I am. I really, really appreciate it. Cheers. Have an awesome week. See you in the next one. Bye for now. I really do the like or the subscribe. Filtration